Hi everyone, welcome to Technology. On this section, I'll be walking you through what is DevOps. All right, so let's go up and see what is DevOps. All right, so DevOps is a set of practices that combine software development and IT operations. It aims to shorten the system development lifecycle and provide continuous delivery with high software quality. DevOps is complementary with Agile software development. Several DevOps aspects came from Agile methodology. All right, so let's go up and see how DevOps work. DevOps lifecycle divides the SDLC into these following stages: continuous development, continuous testing, continuous delivery, continuous monitoring. And in between, we have continuous integration. So as you can see the diagram, when we're doing the planning, remember on the last session when we talk about SDLC, when we talk about requirements, the design, implementation, verification, and maintenance. So this is how all the stages is being divided. So on the plan stage and code stage, which is requirement and design stage, is called continuous development. And from the build and testing is called continuous testing. So this is how it's being divided. And in between, we have continuous integration. This is where the integration is happening. That is why it's called CI/CD: continuous integration, continuous development, continuous deployment. So everything is continuous. That's why the logo of DevOps is infinity, because it keeps going. You keep planning, you keep modifying, you keep pushing, and your automated tools keep building and keep deploying into the servers. So that's how it works. All these stages is being replaced by tools. We have continuous deployment and continuous monitoring. So when we deploy and operate is called continuous deployment. When we monitor is called continuous monitoring. So like I said, we have integration tools. So all these stages is being replaced by tools. So those are the tools that you're going to learn on this DevOps course. All right, so let's go further and see how DevOps works. So this is how DevOps work. You can see developer, it keeps developing. That's where we have continuous development. When developer finish develop on the plan and code stage, it's going to push it down to the version control system. And from version control system, this is the continuous integration tool, which is Jenkins. So Jenkins will pull and send it to the testing server. And if everything is good, it's going to send it to the continuous deployment. And if there's any error, it's going to give the feedback to the developer while we keep doing continuous monitoring. So this is how DevOps works. So you can see server, testing server, production server, Jenkins, version control. So all these procedures is being replaced with tools. So those are the tools. You can see that the only person you see on this image is developer. Developer keeps writing, they keep working. Those are the people that actually doing the real job, keep working, keep coding, keep writing features and all that. And you can see that the rest of the images are tools: version control, Jenkins, all the server. This is where you're going to install all the software that is going to be doing all the jobs. All right, so let's go further and talk about all these stages one after the other. So continuous development. Continuous development as a software development methodology rather than improving software in one large batch like we used to do in waterfall. Updates are made continuously, piece by piece, enabling software code to be delivered to customer as soon as it is completed and tested. All right, so let's go further and see what happens on continuous integration. Continuous integration is a DevOps software development practice where developers regularly merge their code changes into a central repository, after which automated builds and tests are run. So this is where we have continuous integration. When developer finish coding, is going to send it to a version control system where Jenkins will pull it from. That's where we have continuous integration. So let's go further and talk about what is continuous deployment. Continuous deployment is a strategy for software releases wherein any code commit that passes automated testing phase is automatically released into the production environment, making changes that are visible to the software users. So this is where we have continuous deployment. You know, whenever our code passes through the test server and everything goes successfully, that is when we deploy to the production server. And let's go further and see what happened on continuous testing. Continuous testing is the process of executing automated tests as part of the software delivery pipeline in order to obtain feedback on business risk associated with a software release candidate as rapidly as possible. So this is where we have continuous testing, because whenever we build a unit, we have to test it to make sure everything works fine in the testing environment before going to deployment environment. So just like when you cook something, you have to test it first. Make sure that it tastes good. If there's any other stuff that you need to add to it, you're gonna modify it. And if everything works fine, and you're gonna deploy it to the users. So let's talk about continuous monitoring phase. Continuous monitoring refers to this process and technology required to incorporate monitoring across each phase of your DevOps and IT operation lifecycle. It helps to continuously ensure the health, performance, and reliability of your application and infrastructure as it moves from development to production. So, when we deploy the application to the production server, that is when the users can be able to have access to such application. When we make it live, then you keep monitoring it to see the behavior, to see how the application is doing. That is when the feedback is going to developer. That is when the feedback is going to the team. If you remember, some of the software, some of the application, they're gonna ask you to give your feedback. When you use it, how does it behave on your side? So those are the feedback, that they're gonna be using to modify the application. That's where they come to the level of maintenance. Application is being maintained forever until that application is no longer in existence, until that application is being shut down. That's where they need DevOps. That's why DevOps is very important in software development lifecycle process. All right, so this brings us to the end of this section about what is DevOps, and I hope you understand and I hope you learn. Thank you.